Start.
Okay.
We're live on the
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rest the Case special legal session. So, today we are here to discuss. So, today we are here to discuss what everyone is talking about. Who you who are watching us have big plans in mind to launch a business, or should I say startup? Yes, startups have boomed in the past few years in our country. India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. In 2023, India achieved a significant milestone of surpassing over 100,000 registered startups under the Startup India initiative, according to our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. This number just under 50,000 back in 2018, and now you can see the number has doubled. Now, isn't that interesting? This has created over 40,000 new jobs every year. Startups are helping our country to grow economically and also providing new jobs. So, people who have joined us here, I'm sure you all have dreams of building your own startup. And today we are going to talk about the legalities, about how you can build your startup from scratch and what are the legal procedures involved in it. So, today we have with us our esteemed legal experts and our CEO. So, I'll begin with their introduction. So, first off, we have Dr. Ashok Yende, who is the CEO and managing partner at Yende Legal Associates, Mumbai. With over 35 years of experience in administration, teaching, and the legal profession, he had previously served as a professor and head at the Department of Law at University of Mumbai. He has also founded the University of Mumbai Law Academy. Empaneled as the mediator by the Bombay High Court and Maharashtra State Consumer Commission, he is renowned for his mediation experience. Dr. Yende's initiative includes philanthropic projects through Global Vision India's foundation and establishing educational centers for underprivileged children. Dr. Yende has the privilege to participate in the United Nations Conference on Cybercrime Convention as a panel member and conferences of leading global institutions. Next, we have Advocate Sumit Soni, who is a first generation lawyer renowned for his stellar success rate in over 200 cases. Specializing in criminal, civil, and matrimonial matters, he primarily practices at the Supreme Court. He also practices in the High Court and all the district courts in Delhi. He is also a member of the Supreme Court Bar Association. Beyond law, Sumit Soni is a BJP spokesperson and president of the International Human Rights Council Delhi State Board. And now we have our CEO, Ms. Shreya Sharma, CEO of Rest the Case. She is a lawyer, mediator, and founder of Rest the Case. Her vision is to make Rest the Case a one stop solution for all things legal in India. She has studied law at Cardiff University, Wales. She has founded this platform to make legal solutions and information easy and accessible to all, no matter how big or small the problem is. And welcome to the live session, everyone. I hope you all are doing great this Saturday.
Absolutely.
So, I would request our CEO, Shreya, to play a short video about Rest the Case for our audience and everyone else.
Rest the Case is a legal aggregator platform, a one-stop solution for all services and information. If you have any legal troubles, want a legal service, or need to consult a legal expert, we can help you. Speak with our registered lawyers available in over 200 plus cities. To consult a lawyer, you can sign up or contact us. Click on Find Lawyer, and filter lawyers by specialization, location, or even PIN code. Get contact details of lawyers instantly and contact the lawyers on the website, call, or email. To speak to our team, call us at 928-429-3610 or drop us an email at info@reestcase.com. If you are not looking for a lawyer, you can browse through our knowledge bank to get legal tips, learn about laws in a simplified manner, and stay updated on legal news. That's not all. Check out our extensive library of document templates to access legal drafts. Just select the template you want, fill out your details, and download it to use. In case of any queries, contact us at 928-429-3610 or info@reestcase.com.
We will be also dropping a link to our website in the comment section. So make sure you all visit it for more information about Rest the Case. And now I will be handing over this session to our CEO, Shreya Sharma. And I am sure you all will have a great time with our legal experts. And also make sure you drop in your questions in the comment section, and we will answer. Our legal experts will answer it for sure. So see you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ankita. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Building Your Startup in India by Rest the Case. Today, we're here to delve into the vital legal aspects of startup ventures. Starting and growing a business involves a lot of challenges, and navigating the legal landscape is undoubtedly one of the most crucial aspects for any entrepreneur. Whether you're at the inception stage, you're laying the foundations for your startup, or you have already embarked on the entrepreneurial journey, this event is tailored to provide to you essential insights into the legal essentials that you need for your startup. We're honored to have a panel of distinguished lawyers with us, experts in the field of business law who will share their knowledge and expertise to guide you through the complexities of legalities for startups. Throughout this event, our panelists will address key topics such as entity formation, intellectual property protection, contracts, agreements, compliance, funding, everything you need to know when you are starting out. These are concerns that everyone may have, and today we're going to talk about all of them so that you understand what you are doing right, what you need to do, and what you should plan to do in the future. So, without further ado, let's welcome our esteemed panelists who will shed light on these critical legal aspects and help you navigate the journey of entrepreneurship with confidence. So, thank you for joining us today, and let's get started. Are you all ready? All right. So the first question, just to keep it simple and to give everybody a simple understanding, can you just tell us how to register a startup in India? This question is to both of you, so anybody can start.
So shall I start?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I appreciate Advocate Shreya for bringing legal services on one window, and also nice to see Advocate Sumit and Ankita and the team on this very emerging area of the startup. And this concept of startup was already there, but during Modi's government's regime, it has gone. I think it has enhanced to the double than the earlier government. And as Ankita has rightly mentioned about the relevance of this startup, so there are many big multinational companies and big companies are there, but startups are actually relevant because they contribute to the development of the entrepreneurial activity in the state and the local level and the regional level. Now it offers a new innovation actually. New innovation, it also produces many jobs for the needy, and new ideas and innovations are there because though sometimes many startups are the first generation startups. Now many benefits have been given by the government, particularly this government, like access to intellectual property, then relaxation in taxation. You can get 3 years relaxation within a period of 7 years, and then funding is there, whether venture funding or other investments are there. So all these are the benefits, and that's why this concept is very relevant. Not only in India, globally also it has been accepted, but in India, particularly this few years, within a period of few years, it has gone to such an extent because a lot of awareness is being created among the people. In Maharashtra, you will find particularly, I'm talking about, there is a skills universities there, and I participated in a few of the programs. So the startup special projects have been implemented in the government of Maharashtra, and special skills university has been established in Mumbai. So this is how you see how it is going to the next level. This concept of the startup level. Now, as Shreya has rightly asked the question that how to start, because startup is there, but of course it needs all the legal requirements and the technical requirements. For example, first you have to incorporate your business. Now, how you can incorporate your business? Naturally, company law is there. So, company law, either you can incorporate as a private limited company or a limited liability partnership. We call it a LLP. So, first you have to incorporate under the company law. You have to apply to the register of companies of that particular region. If I'm from Maharashtra, Mumbai ROC is there. Delhi is there, Delhi ROC is there. So, you have to make an application to the ROC for incorporating the company, whether public, private limited company or limited liability partnership. Once you apply to that, then you have to start with the startup. Now, startup, there is a special website is given. So that Startup India website is there. You go to the Google search, you will get Startup India website where everything is there. So you have to register your everything in that particular website. Your entity, name of the entity, or main details, major requirements are mentioned, and then you can that we call it creating the profile. So you have to create the profile on that Startup India website. That is of course created by the government of India. And once it is created, then you have to start with the getting DPIIT recognition. Now, what is the DPIIT recognition? DPIIT recognition is Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So DPIIT is important. So once you register the incorporation, that is the first step. Then you have to open that website. Then you have to create the profile. Once you create the profile, then naturally you have to start process for the getting DPIIT recognition. Now for DPIIT recognition, there is also a simple, lengthy but simple procedure is there. For example, you should be prepared with the documents. Now major documents which are required, of course, in the next question, I think that question is the requirement. But yes, mainly the documents required as the PAN number is there, TAN number is there, incorporation number is there, your address proof is there. One person should be authorized. Maybe three partners are there. One partner is authorized to sign signatory to all the documents is there. Then proof of various other documents are there. And main important thing is you have to prepare your pitch decks. Pitch decks are a small video of normally of 3 minutes. Now this video is important, which symbolizes or which represents your idea of the your product and service of the business. Now business may be product or the services. So what type of the product and services there? How you are going to scale that particular business? What are the probability and the scope in that particular area? So everything should be covered. Who are the directors in that particular company? And your share capital, everything has to be mentioned within a briefly. Normally it is 3 minutes. We call it a pitch deck. So within the pitch deck, every information has to be given, and then you have to upload in that particular website, because there are around 7 pages are there. Once it is submitted, then everything is okay. Everything is as per the norms. Sometimes the particular size is required, photo is there, pitch deck is there. So if all technical and legal requirements are submitted and they are as per compliance requirements of the as mentioned in that particular website, then it is the application, it is said that application has been recognized, and you can be called as a recognition of the startup. You'll get the startup recognition number and the certificate.
All right. That was very, very insightful. In fact, I think I should start taking some notes on the side as well when you both are talking. Advocate Sumit Soni, would you like to add to this?
Well, Dr. Yende has already detailed such nicely, and he is a very experienced person, I believe, for this stream, and he has said right. See, with the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi, India has, outshined like anything on the global platform for last few years, I would say, more especially with the startups. And the idea is to empower the youth and make them independent, and apart from startups, he has many other agendas and policies like Make in India and all, MSME, and Startup India and skill and development. So there are several I would say parts of this entire campaign that is helping youth nowadays to establish their business, a startup, and like operate it. Shruti, yeah.
Right. That is absolutely true. In fact, like Kita was saying in the introduction as well, the number of startups that have increased in our country suddenly is actually it shows a very promising future for the country also.
Yeah.
It shows that we are growing and we are using our ideas and trying to do something with them. So very
Yeah.
nicely put both. I mean, those are very good points. All right. So the next question is, what are the different documents required to register a startup? So maybe you can start with this.
Yeah, maybe I can reply. So for this, see, the documentation process is very simple. There are just a few documents required. I mean, first of all, as Dr. Yende has already explained, to start a startup, okay, to go with a startup, like first you need to have a company incorporated or registered. If I mean, it can be a business firm, okay, registered firm, or maybe a company, one person company, limited liability company, private limited company. So I mean, as per it suits to your project and your needs, okay. So you need to submit the incorporation certificate of your company or your enterprise. Then you need to submit proof of funding, or maybe if you already have got the bank account and you have some balances, so you need to submit your bank details, I mean finances for that matter, and one authorization letter of the director or the representative of the company would be required, and your project report or maybe proof of concept can be submitted along with some synopsis like your website or maybe a video link or a pitch of your business. So that is all required for the registration with the startup. Yeah, initially.
All right, all right. Advocate India, anything you feel
Yes,
that is missing?
Advocate Sumit has rightly said everything actually. One just want to add that if something regarding a patent and copyright is there, suppose they have already applied, whether applied or is pending or approved, whatever is there, whatever progress is there, then you must mention in the application about the progress of the patent and the trademark details, if it is there like that. And secondly, everything has to be given on the letter. Just like Advocate Sumit has rightly said, you have to give the authorization. So authorization should be on the letter, properly stamped and signed by the other advocates, and no resolution passed in that your compartment, limited liability partnership, as the case may be, or the private company, as the case may be. So this is one. Any funding is there. What types of the funding, if any, is there? Because a startup, you are starting it newly. Actually, it may be beginning of your particular business or the entrepreneurship. But if any funding you have started, what type of funding is there? If it is there, then you have to mention all these things. That is, I think, sufficient here.
All right. So the next question is that what are the different types of licenses required by a startup in India? So you already sort of touched upon patents and stuff like that, but what other licenses would you usually require?
what I what I feel, if you permit me, what I feel that ultimately startup is also a business. It is a different form of business where some benefits are given, especially by the government. So it is entrepreneurship, but ultimately it is at small level a business is there. Now it has also gone to a big level many times. So, but it requires what is the other requirements which are applicable to the other businesses are applicable. For example, GST is there, so it is necessary, it is required, it is mandatory. Then a trade license is there, like so the Maharashtra is there, Bombay Shop and Establishment Act is there. So you have to start any business, then you must register on the Bombay Shops and Establishment. In Delhi, it may be there and established. I don't know, but where is there in Delhi? Then MS, as Advocate Sumit said, that MSME registration is there. Pollution question is there. There are so many requirements are there. Then pollution control code is there. If something related to pollution is there, your industry and product and services are of that nature, then maybe pollution certificate is required. In some cases, your fire department is there, fire requirements are depending. Water pollution is there, sale tax is there. So then in property, I already mentioned compliances with the taxation and all this. So these are all the mainly necessary compliances. There are many compliances actually, but they are the mainly compliances which are necessary required for starting any startup.
Right. Advocate Soni, is there something else?
Yeah, rightly explained by Dr. Yende already, but yeah, it completely depending upon the nature of business, nature of startup you are going to kickstart, right? So maybe if it is something about medicos, then you might need a drug license. If it is something about, I mean, food and beverages, some eatable business. Okay, so you need to have a license from FSSAI. Likewise, so with the relevant authority, you will be needing certain licenses. And apart from that, maybe you need to have a license or a registration of the establishment of business from your shop or the place, I mean place of business. Okay, so you need to have it approved and thoroughly recognized in the records. So likewise, these all licenses would be required, I believe, for the
Yeah,
starting.
just an additional follow-up question to what you were saying. So now, if there is a smaller, say a home baker, someone who sells things from home, do they also need to have an FSSAI kind of license?
Yes, as once if it is a business and you are catering, you are serving, number of people, and you are doing it for business, you technically and legally you need to have a FSSAI license, okay, for your enterprise, to smoothly run your business without any legal hindrances in future.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So since we're discussing this now, what kind of legal problems do startups kind of get stuck at? That they're like this problem mostly everyone kind of faces, and they kind of stop here or get stuck at. And how would you kind of go about this?
Yeah, well, at the beginning, you might have problems. I mean, you might face certain challenges, like first of all, into incorporation of a business. Okay, so if you don't know the process, if you don't know the documentation, and many times, like you might have. Your documents are not in order. Okay, so you might face certain problems with the incorporation or registration of the business if you don't have the. Sometimes it happens with the startup. I have closely seen people. I mean, the youth. I'm into association with such several ventures. Okay, so if you don't have a rent agreement thoroughly registered, okay, and if you don't have all your documents, I mean, generally it happens once Aadhaar card is of some other address, okay, and maybe their bank account is of some other addresses. Likewise, so everything has to be in place, okay, to avoid such troubles into getting your company incorporated or registered. And other things, yes, the intellectual properties, that's again a hurdle. Yeah, you need to have your logo duly registered. You need to have your trademark duly registered. If you are selling some articles, so maybe you need to have your design duly registered, or maybe you need some patents. Okay, so you might face certain trouble into having all those intellectual properties in place. Okay, then you might face troubles into getting a bank account, right? A bank account that suits your business. And nowadays everything is online, so you need to have some payment gateways and all that. So you need to have a proper homework about all these things, right? Or you need to have a professional consultant. Maybe you can have some services of a professional consultant. They can streamline and schedule each and everything for you as per the process. Or tax compliances, again, I mean, you need to have as per your business venture, as per your needs, you need to have tax compliances, GST, and yes, initially, as Dr. Yende explained, you have a tax breakup for primary 3 years out of a 7 years breakup. But anyhow, you need to be relevant, and you need to be inclined with all the criteria and necessities of the process with the tax audits. So these all are the challenges at the beginning. Yeah.
Right. Advocate Yende, do you think there are some other challenges also
Yeah.
that the startup face apart?
As said by Advocate Sumit, a lot of obstacles are there, and starting a business in India is a little bit complex procedure. Is not an easy feat. Entrepreneurs, first generation entrepreneurs who are starting business for the first time, then they have to face a lot of challenges. Some of the challenges already mentioned by Advocate Sumit, like they don't have the capital. They have to raise the capital, actually, and because they have to make appointment of the skilled person, they have to make technicians, a legal person knowing all these procedure compliances. All these things are there. Naturally, they have to make the appointments. and with the limited access to capital, limited capital, they may not get a proper persons or the employees and the staff who are technically and legally expert in their particular field. That is one of the challenge what I feel. Then in India there are complex regulations. India always there are many laws and regulations. So many now this Modi government tried to repeal some of the laws. That is different thing. Otherwise, Indian scenario you will find there are many laws, rules, regulations actually, and there are so many complex provisions and complex mechanism. So a person starting a new business, small business or first generation business, then it becomes very difficult to access to these regulations or to comply with all laws and the rules and the regulations. And then it's difficult to get the skill talent because of the limit of the capital in that case. I think these are all their limit access. He may not be knowing somebody wants something. He may be new in that particular or the entrepreneurship. Then he have limited access. He has to market. Uh, he has to research, conduct the research in the market. So there is also one limitation. Then infrastructure challenges. If he is newly starting some business or the entrepreneurship or the startup, then infrastructure challenge we can understand for establishing all the infrastructure barriers are all there. So these are some of the challenges I think. Of course, it can be overcome certainly, but by this type of the workshops here, we can create awareness among the people and they can get acquainted with the solutions for this. But I think broadly, these are some of the challenges which I feel personally.
Right. I think in startups, challenges don't end, or any company actually, challenges don't end. But I guess these initial things, if it can be taken care of, then it really takes a lot of pressure off
I will,
of the
I will,
people.
I will appeal to the government actually for they should simplify, particularly in case of new entrepreneur or a startup, they should relax some of the regulations, rules, and the legal. Of course, benefits are there that I can understand, but they should relax some of the formalities like that. Otherwise, a new generation people will not be encouraged. Of course, it has been doubled during this Modi government that I could accept, but they will. We want to encourage the young generation to start to become entrepreneur, then I think we should relay all these rules and regulations and the formalities.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that will make more people want to grow their
Yes,
business or
yes.
to start a business for sure. Yes.
There are
All
many
right.
people
So
having the skill actually. What happens here?
yeah,
Many people they may not be so educated. They may not be aware about all these things, but they are very intelligent. Particularly people from the rural area, they are very intelligent and brilliant that way. But they don't understand the legal and other formalities like that. So we should
yeah,
encourage all these people where the cottage industries can be encouraged, and so naturally country India will go like that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So my next question is, what is considered a startup intellectual property, and how can startups protect their intellectual property in India? And also, what factors do you think affect the choice between going for a patent or a trademark or a copyright?
Shall I
So
reply
shall I tell
this?
you? Okay.
Sure, whoever.
Please begin.
Well, there are several things as we call intellectual properties for a business. But to name a few, I would say yes. As I explained earlier, you need, I mean, your trademark, okay, your design, name of your enterprise, and the brand name of your products for that matter. So these are the few very common important things that needs to be taken care, and it has happened several times. I have seen that there were a few wonderful businesses, okay, and they were growing like anything, but just because of lack of knowledge and failure of following the process, some other fellow would capture their business, okay, they will capture their brand, they will capture their logo, everything, and the original owner, they happen to stay left with any nothing at all in their hand. So yes, you need to be very very careful about your logo. It has to be registered, okay, as per the process, and the design of your product and the name of your enterprise and the brand name of your products, articles for that matter. So you need to be very careful about them, and your website, because nowadays everything is digitalized. So you need to be very careful about the safety and security of your website. I mean, all the transactions nowadays, they are taking place digitally. So there are, enough chances of fraudulent activities, and so you need to avoid them, and you need to be ultra careful about them. Yeah.
All right. Advocate Yende?
Yeah. So I think you need to register because startup they are starting something innovative ideas. Normally, in startup there is innovation is there, new idea is there. So now, as per the law, you have to register under the as you mentioned the intellectual property. So you have to register a trademark, whether it's a word is there, phrase is there, see, some symbol is there. We should identify and differentiate your company or your product and services from other services. So unless you register that, somebody may use that product. And sometimes you patent is there, invention is there, scientific invention is there, technical invention is there, then again you should register that with the patent authority, or at least you should make an application. It may take sometimes 1 year. So they have to disclose it, they have to publicize it, like the procedure is there, but at least if they it is under the process, they make an application that will under the protection. Then copyright law is there. So copyright law, naturally we all understand that it protects the original work, and Advocate Sumit also mentioned, including literary work is there, sound is there, TV films are there, sound clip, video clips are there. So you have to protect. So under all these intellectual property laws, whether trademark is there, patent is there, or copyright is there, then you should register that. What happens in India, and I think Advocate Sumit also mentioned about that, particularly in rural areas, the small mobility areas, like turmeric case was happened in India in 1995. So everybody knows turmeric is there. It is used as insecticide. It is used for the wounds in surgical cases like that. But the patent was given to the United States in 1995. So then our scientists, many experts, they fought like the ultimate. We won the case in United States and in India also. So you see that many rural people, that traditionally they don't know about the formalities, legal formalities, how to register that. But they are using that. They are inventing that something. They are using that like. So the traditional knowledge is there, but they don't have the legal knowledge like that. They don't have the technical knowledge. So that's why I mentioned that we have to simplify the process so that young people, and particularly from small areas, mobile areas, they can be encouraged to start something, some innovation idea that will help our nation to grow further like this. So that is one aspect of the intellectual property. But certainly, it is a important mandatory criteria requirement that if something is there, you don't register, you will not you will not the benefit of the intellectual property.
Right. So since we brought this up, what can you tell us, like, if I have a product, for example, what can I patent and what can I not patent?
I could not get your question.
So I was asking you, what can you patent and what do you know that this for sure you cannot patent?
That actually, it is better actually you engage some expert, because now there are so many case laws have been developed. You understand that so much of case law have been developed. So many legal interpretation has been made by the lower court up to the apex court of this country. That better, I will advise that better to appoint some legal advisor in that particular field so that he can guide and properly make an application. If you just on his own, many people trying on their own, and then it becomes mistake like there's something, and if that particular product cannot be patented or copyright cannot be registered, and it is rejected. So better to engage some legal advisor, legal attorney in that particular field, so that he can advise properly. That procedure, he'll understand the particular procedure.
Right.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe in this regard, I would say, as far as getting a patent about a product or a design, whether you are able or not, it completely depends upon your authority and rights over that design and product, depending upon its uniqueness. Okay, so if you have created a product or technology or any invention for that matter, it can be a song. Okay, so anything in writing or anything, it can be a piece of art. Okay, so if it is an all new invention creation by you, that nobody has rights over it, okay, and nobody has objections about it. However, as Dr. Yende explained, it has to be determined thoroughly by the concerned authorities. So if it is some sole invention or creation of you, you are entitled to have the patent about any such thing. Yeah.
All right. All right. So my next question is, what are the best contract drafting practices for startups in India, including partnership, employment, and vendor agreements, and how does one decide?
Well,
What?
drafting.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. For the contract drafting, see, it depending upon the kind of contract you want to develop. You want to develop a contract for the employees, okay, or maybe for the vendors, okay, or maybe for the parties, your clients. So accordingly, you need to have, you need to take care of the liabilities and responsibilities that come along with the creation of any such contract. Okay, so just to avoid any dispute in future, being a new entrepreneur, we have generally seen people would just because having lack of information or lack of knowledge of the process, they may simply draft a contract for the, it can be for anybody, as I explained earlier. Okay, so they may unnecessarily, they may face certain legal challenges or disputes, and they may complicate the whole thing. So for this, I would suggest you need to have a professional guidance, okay, and you need to have a corporate lawyer, so who can help you with the drafting of contracts as per the requirement of your business, nature of the business. Okay, so that would be more better for you here.
Right. This would be very, very specific to the company.
Yes, yeah, depending upon what kind of disputes you may fall in, what kind of challenges you may have, so every little thing has to be taken care, okay, by a professional. So being a, if you are going to start a new venture, so I would suggest you need to have a good corporate lawyer who can guide you in this regard and help you with the contracts development.
Right, absolutely. Yes, Advocate Yendi, I think were you trying to say
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I think for any enterprise, any entity, any startup, a document is a important basis for starting that particular business. And naturally, drafting document means drafting leading to that particular document. So drafting based draft in a proper way is, I think, basis for starting it. Otherwise, it will give a lot of confusion and chaos in that particular business. So, particular, I feel that there should be clarity and in the clauses in that particular agreement. Clarity in the interpretation, in the precision in the definition, what you want to say actually. So that clarity should be there. Otherwise, as said by Advocate Sumi, that it will lead to litigation unless there is a legal professional is there. Then what is the scope of the objective? Why you do want to start agreement? Whether with the partnership, whether with the employment, whether with the vendor agreement, whether in the funding is there. So that what is your objective? That you should clearly mention like that. Then just now we discussed about the intellectual property. That should also be clearly mentioned that what you have the right about the particularly IPR is there. Then risk allocation is there. Now sometimes there is a lot of confusion and the dispute regarding liability. What liability is there? If it is not clearly mentioned in the agreement clause or the contract clause, then you should clearly mention what is the risk actually, who will be liable, to what extent they are liable. That should also, I think, be clearly mentioned in the contract. Otherwise, it will lead to the lot of litigation unnecessary, because you want to start up and you will be involved in the litigation, so it will waste of time. You will not be able to focus on the objective of that particular startup. Then regulatory compliances are there. Who will make the regulatory compliance? Who will make the apply? Whether employer, employee, partners, what are their interest liabilities are there? What are their interest duties are there? That should be clearly mentioned. Then dispute resolution is very important criteria. And particularly, I will suggest that if dispute resolution, you should specifically mention the clause either mediation or the arbitration. So it will avoid unnecessary litigation in the court of law. Many times it happens that litigation matter goes to the court of law, and you will divert from your focus to starting to achieve something, innovative project, something like that, and it will be involved in that particular litigation. So better you specifically mention any dispute is there and conflict is there, then you better to avail the remedy of mediation or the arbitration, and that will save your a lot of time in because I'm working as a mediation, so I'm telling my own experience. Then when it will be terminated, a contract is whether employment is there, employee contract is there, or the expert's contract is there, when it is going to be terminated, or when you are going to exit from that. And then based in the better, I always say that best ways to negotiation. Always go for the negotiation and the mediation. That will save you a lot of time, and you will be able to focus on the objective of your startup.
Right, right. Because when you come to one table and discuss it properly, I think that's where you get a better
Yeah,
solution
yeah.
for sure. Yeah. All right. Our next question is what are the essential taxation and financial reporting requirements for startups in India, including tax registration and GST compliance?
Shall I reply?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, the minimum alternate tax is there. I mean, first of all, as per the taxation compliance is required. So, apart from that, GST and income tax. So these are all the taxation compliances required for any startup. However, with the GST, I mean, if the revenue of an enterprise is less than 40 lakh rupees, so there are certain relaxation in the initial stage of an enterprise. Okay. And with the income tax as well, if the turnover is below 100 CR as per the latest guidelines, so there is relief for the enterprises for the first 3 years in the income tax as well. So yeah, for the compliance, you need to have GST registration in place and the audits and the income tax audits. And if it is a selling enterprise, then you need to have GST is there. So all these compliances would be required for the taxation.
Advocate Yende?
Yeah. I think as rightly said by Advocate Sumit, if it exceeds more than turnover exceeds more than 40 lakhs, then it's mandatory GST. It is very strict. There penal provisions are there. Then you have to maintain the record of the GST. Same the case with the income tax. Then of course you can get that benefit if you are a startup. Then within a period of 3 years, within a span of 7 years, that you can. If you of course then you have to apply to the income tax authority with all the documentation, your pitch with video, what are your objectives, why you are starting everything, and then the authority approves, you can get the benefit of. Unless otherwise, you will be subject to liability of the GST and the income tax. Then not only that, but every year you have to maintain compliances and you have to maintain that record, like whether GST is there, income filing of the return, income tax return is there, whether accurate records are there. So all these, that's ultimately that's why I'm telling that you have to appoint the proper experts, where finance account side is there, whether the tax side is there, or whether legal side is there. So sometimes with limited resources and the limited capital, it becomes very difficult for a newly started entrepreneur. But you have to, of course, you have to comply, because there is no exemption like that. You are a newly started entrepreneur, no exemption on this particular accounts. So you should take care of all these compliances. There is no other alternative.
Right. All right. So the final question from our side is, what are the options available to startups for raising capital in India, and what legal considerations should they keep in mind when engaging with investors or venture capitalists? Anyone can take the question.
And of course, as you mentioned that different types of the fundings are there. As you mentioned that crowdfunding is there. Whether you can just give and just like many Cato is there. Many companies are giving advertisement online for helping the people. So crowdfunding, you can just apply that you are in need of the funds like that. So anybody can, if you like your idea of the innovation, then you can fund it. Venture funding is there, where particular firm is uh, giving you the, or a particular company, they are providing the assistance. Or sometimes personal contacts are there, you can collect the money from personal, your family is there, family friends are there. So all these types of the fundings are there. Here try to venture funding, crowdfunding. So you can try for all this, but all these things ultimately you have to repay all these things. Sometimes TV shows are there, just like we have seen the Shark show is there where you can get the funding like that. So many this type of the sources of the funding is there, whether you can collect the funds, but of course ultimately liability is there. Because if you take the funding and loan, borrow the money from that, whether from the bank or the private or a venture or the crowdfunding, still liability is there. You have to repay that. It should not happen that you have to take the funding, you could not run it properly, and then ultimately liability is there. It will go to some different level like that. That should not happen. So I think that you should take care while taking the borrowing the loan or the funding. You should take care of all these things, because even if persons who are funding, organizations who are funding the money, or they are investing the money, whether individually are investing or companies are investing the money. In such cases, also they are very careful about that. They will collect all the data. They will take your interview. They will go through your interview and the objectives why you started the company. What is the scope? What is the scope of the future earning and the revenue of that particular company? Everything is considered in the particular case. So that is how I think about the funding. I think.
Right. So, are there any specific documents that are required, that these legally required for getting funding, or there's nothing?
Yeah, that is same thing like contract is there, agreement is there actually. Yeah, the terms are there. When what will be liability, when they are going to fund, what will be interest, equity, and all these things are there naturally. So ultimately, it's a part of the contract only. Contract may take the different form. It may be personal form, government contract, like corporate contract. So that's why sometimes we'll need expertise actually. So contract differ on the nature of the business or nature of the work you are entering into contract. So that's why everything has to be mentioned in the contract only. Ultimately, it will be contract in the particular case. Yeah.
Right. Advocate Soni, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, rightly explained by Dr. Yende already. There are several modes of funding: angel funding, venture funding, crowdfunding, and nowadays there are certain enterprises, just like we see on the television. I have heard of a show, Shark Tank, right? So there are plenty of such enterprises. Those they are, I mean, encouraging new ventures or new businesses, or already running businesses. Those who need some capital, or some funds, right? So, but you have to be very careful, as explained by Dr. Yende, because during such interactions they will be having all your project details and all your confidential informations, right? And sometime it may happen, if you are with I mean into talks with some new or unreliable enterprise, they might just take away all the information and all the confidential reports from you, and they might just capture your business and start their own venture. One fine day you will get to know you were just running for the funding and somebody has already started working on my project, right? So you need to play in the safe hands for that matter. Banks, and as I had explained earlier, MSME is there, skill development is there, Startup India is there. So they are all comes from the government of India, right? So all the funds you will get from the government, or the banks are there. Bank would be providing you the loans if you have some potential project, okay? And if you have an authentic project report, and if bank sees such scope in your business, so bank would either lend you some business loan, or maybe some working capital, or I would suggest you can raise funds from your personal contact, where there you don't have to give away some stake in the business, or maybe revenue sharing. Sometime the lenders, they might ask for the board membership, right? So they might capture your business, or they might create obstacles into your planning and vision in a long run. So nowadays things are very easy. So if you have a good paperwork done, you can either get it through a bank, or government is there to help you, or maybe through your personal contact, your personal saving, okay? So you can use it for your business. That would be more safer and more better in the long run.
Right.
So you can avoid liabilities and burden. Running a business at the beginning, it is very burdensome already, and chances of success and failure are, I mean, they are quite equal. Okay, at the beginning, right? So you don't have to take further burdens in terms of finances from other enterprises, whether you are not sure of your success sometime. So you might not need to have some extra burdens on your shoulders. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, we've reached the audience question part of our discussion. So, our audience included a lot of people who are currently running startups or who want to run a startup. And obviously, after listening to you all and seeing how much information you all have, we've all got a little greedy and they've asked we've asked a lot of questions. Us also, and also the audience as well. So I'll just take a couple of questions from the audience, and so if they're directed to somebody, I will direct it to you, but otherwise they're for the both of you. So the first question is, what legal considerations should entrepreneurs keep in mind when choosing a business structure?
Well, it completely depends on the nature of business. Okay, so anything is good. To start with, sole proprietorship is good as per the options I have seen on the screen. Okay, along with the question. So proprietorship is okay. Okay, one person company is okay. It doesn't make a difference. It only differentiate the scale of business. Okay. I mean, if you are starting a business that you are sure is going to hit a volume of crores of rupees, then you might need to have a private limited company, or maybe India limited company, or a limited company. If it is a small scale business already, because with the incorporation of companies with all these different titles, it comes a lot of liability. Okay, a lot of formalities, okay, with the audits and with the compliance. So just to start with, certainly you can, if it is a small business, you can start it with a sole proprietorship firm, and you can run your business like anything. There is no difference, and later on you can upgrade to any other incorporation certificate. You can upgrade it to the same business, no problem.
Yeni, do you have a similar view, or
Yeah, I think what Advocate Sumit said, either limited company or limited liability policy, because in limited liability matters, registrations, you specifically mentioned that liability limited with particular amount like that. So it will be exonerated if particular liabilities above the particular amount like that. So that is the best concept, that either private limited liability company or public this limited liability partnership, we call it popularly LLP like that. So liability is limited, and in something happen like that, some liability is there, so then in such cases their liability will be limited, and ultimately they will not be individually liable, person liable, as the case settled law in many cases like that. I think that will be best option. Yeah.
right? Our next question then is, how can startups effectively navigate employment laws, including hiring, termination, and employee benefits?
Actually, all labor laws will be applicable all the cases, but initially it will be very difficult. What I personally feel is legal compliances requirements are there, Provident Fund Act is there, then many other laws are there. All these laws will be applicable. But initially, for a small business, there is a requirement of particular number of employees, so all these acts may not be applicable. But they are very strict laws. Compliance is very strict. So initially, I feel that start with the small employees, they may not be required to submit all these things, like particularly if PPF is there, or general provident fund is there in such cases. But I think ultimately they'll be liable if something happens, and laws are very strict, and the period laws are there.
Right. Advocate Tony, would you like to add something? Or
Yeah, it is like the same as explained by Dr. Yende, but initially, yeah, I mean, it's all about the drafting of contracts, as we had discussed earlier. Okay, so it is all about the contracts with the employees and contracts with the vendors. So if you are hiring an employee, and due to lack of its performance, if you are terminating them. Okay, so what liabilities would you attract? So it is all about that. So once if you have done a contract drafting, in a safe manner for your enterprise, so you won't attract any troubles as such. Yeah, it's just that.
Right. I think what I've picked up most from all of this is you get the right legal help, and a lot of your problems will be taken care of.
Certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. So our next question is, how many board meetings are supposed to be conducted in a year after you start up a new startup?
So it depends on your limited, like the LLP is there actually. There is registration, your registered document is there, registered with the register of companies, ROC is there. So how you have decided actually, and upon is subject to the company's law, subject to company law provisions, and subject to your document of registration, registered with the register of companies. Number of meetings will be required.
Right. All right. And one second, this question is, what is bootstrap in startup? Does it work? Is it risky? Could you please tell us?
I personally feel, if you permit me, I personally feel that if innovation is there, because even I have seen some of the TV programs. If innovation is there, new idea is there, then everybody will come forward to fund you. Even government has got, as I think Advocate Sumit also mentioned, government has the scheme where they can give a huge amount, non-refundable amount. They need not refund that amount like that. Some funds are non-refundable. Some funds are there's a bigger amount of the interest is there, and some long-term borrowing is there where you have to pay after a particular period. So many provisions and relaxation and the support has been given by the government scheme. So idea is innovative. Actually, government used to call conferences of the startup, and recently they organized conferences in Delhi in various regional places like that, where government scrutinize the applications for the funding. And idea is good because government also needs, system also needs a good idea and good innovation, because it will also help government and the machinery for boosting their own at their own level. So that's why government used to select the ideas and the innovation, and sometimes ad is given to the newspapers also. They want new ideas, innovative ideas. There, award is given, funding is given, non-refundable funds are given. So I think even regarding the startup or the entrepreneurship, idea is good. Then I think everybody will come forward for the funding, and he will not wait for anything.
Right. Absolutely. And I think business is, a risky place to be. But like what you're saying, if you have the correct idea and you have
Yeah,
something you actually
yeah.
believe in and are working hard for, I'm sure, you will be able to get something done. Advocate Sony, would you also like to add?
Yeah, it is the same. If one is aware enough and well equipped, so things get easier. And as far as funds are concerned, Dr. Yende said rightly, I mean, you have opportunities to have such grants where you don't need to repay the money, okay, or maybe you have such subsidies, okay. So it completely depending upon the idea of business that you come up with. So accordingly, you will be having such opportunities of getting funds from the government or banks, and doing business would become more easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is, can non-compete restrictions be imposed by a company on its employees or exclusive vendors to a business post termination of their contract?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah. The question was, can non-compete restrictions be imposed by a company on its employees or exclusive vendors to a business post termination of their contract?
So once the contract is already terminated, so certainly, yeah, I mean, or for that matter, there can be new contracts developed in this regard, or I mean, otherwise, there can be chances of disputes for such cases. Yeah.
Right. Advocate India, would you like to add to that as well?
No, I have nothing to add. Yeah.
Okay. So let's take the final question then. It says, how do I stay informed about changes in laws or regulations that could affect my startup?
Next, you should attend various conferences are being organized by the government of state government and the government of India. And then many experts come, they interact with each other. New laws or policies are being discussed. New schemes are being discussed, and there are many schemes actually, particularly startup. Many schemes are there. Many funding schemes are there. So the particular CEO or the founder and the director of the startup, they must attend and part various conferences. I actually go through the engines like Google and many other search engines, where they should be acquainted with the change in the policies of the government. And there are innovative policies, new policies are coming up. Government tries to enhance this fit and try to help the startups, particularly in this country and particularly with this regime of this government.
Right. Advocate Soni, do you have any other place or
Yeah, if you are already running a business, so you will get to have all the notifications as per the guidelines, changes. Okay. And rightly, said by Dr. Yende, there are so many associations nowadays that I've heard of, and they would conduct such events throughout nation, and some global organizations are there, so they are conducting such events countrywide, I mean all around the world. And for that matter, I've heard of such events taking place in Delhi or maybe Bangalore or Chennai or Mumbai sometime, where all the aspiring entrepreneurs or people, those who want to start their startup or a new enterprise, some new business, okay, so they would all gather and they have some very good sessions of interaction, okay, and knowledge and information. So you can just keep updated, and there is sufficient material on the internet. You can nowadays, it is everything available on the internet, right? So you need to surf through and to execute all the process. Again, I would say you need to have some advice and help of a professional to execute documents and to execute things of the process. So that would be more convenient for you. Yeah.
right? All right. So we have plenty questions coming in, but I think we'll cap it at these. Some of them are obviously what we have been discussing, and some new, but we'll have to cap it at this today. Because I mean, like before starting the questions, I said that when you have legal experts talking and explaining it so well to everybody that this is how you're supposed to go about your startup, questions keep coming. So we'll surely try to tackle these questions the next time around. But today we'll stop here at the questions, and we'll stop at the discussion for now. But thank you so much to the audience for asking all these questions and for listening so intently to the experts who are here today. And also on behalf of our team, I would really like to thank Advocate Yende and Advocate Soni for taking out their time from their busy schedules. It was immensely insightful, and I have learned so much today just listening to you all. And so many questions were really coming from me, where I was wondering how things work, and with your expertise, that has really simplified a lot of these questions for everyone watching here today as well. Once again, thank you to the audience. This session would not have been the same.
Thanks to you too, Shreya, and thanks to Dr. Yende. Shreya, you have taken a very good initiative of making people aware and providing them information as well as legal aid. And with the association of Dr. Yende, today's session, I believe it went wonderful, because his expertise into teaching has helped explaining each and everything thoroughly and more elaborated. And I also have learned a few things from him. Yeah, it
Thank
went
you,
well.
Amit. Thank you, Advocate Amit, to be here with you on this panel, and Advocate Shreya for taking the lead in new innovative practice in legal. Now, legal practice services have a paradigm change nationally and globally also. So somebody has to take the lead. It's the future of the legal education and legal profession is changing. So I appreciate Advocate Shreya for taking the lead in all these, bringing services in one window. Something it will, I think it will take a different shape. I need to go to the next level. So, and team of the rest take the care, Ankita and other team members. So thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much for being here today.
For giving me the opportunity. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for adding, all the insightful things that you all have said today. And we hope to see you all be a part of the events that Rest the Case has in the future. Once again, thank you all for being here. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.